Hello, the topic for this video will be how to read more, specifically how to read more literature or how to read more fiction. To jump straight into it, the first dot point is to invest in uninterrupted time for you to engage in reading. This is really important because you can't really pick up and put down reading just as you can with Instagram Reels or with TikTok. It does require some startup time for you to get immersed in the text. For me, the minimum amount of time I need to enjoy reading is about 20 minutes, though my preferred time is at least an hour. It's okay to admit that reading is a slower art form and that you might have to treat it like that, but you will find value in it if you try to treat reading as a separate hobby or a separate interest to the way that you engage with other things. For example, video games and films are really quick to start with, and they require a lot of interaction and a lot of processing on your behalf. But fiction, prose fiction, is more of a slow burn, but that has the benefit of a lot more detail and a lot more thought on the behalf of the audience. On to the second dot point, to seek a flow state in your reading, and I alluded to some of that in the first dot point. What I mean by seeking a flow state is to think about prose fiction as an art form, which it is, obviously, but to consider it alongside other art forms such as paintings or of music. Music is a really great analogy for how you should be engaging with prose fiction, because when you're listening to music, you aren't so much trying to pick out each individual note or each individual beat in the song, though you might at times. You are really trying to listen to the cohesive total piece of music. And that's kind of what you should be doing when you're reading prose fiction. In your flow state of reading prose fiction, you're not as much trying to painstakingly read every phrase, every word, or every punctuation mark. You're trying to immerse yourself in the greater picture, to consider the context, to consider the events, to consider the characters, or maybe some of the ideas and implications behind what's happening there. And that leads into the third dot point, is to read faster, with a note that sometimes you might also need to read slower. I would recommend reading faster is important because, especially with classic literature, there are just some passages that are a little dull and don't require, again, as much painstaking attention as some other parts do. So, as a whole, increasing the pace of your reading by a little bit, maybe 50%, maybe 25%, maybe 100%. It's up to you how quickly you can read while still maintaining a near 100% comprehension of what you're reading. As well as reading faster and to ensure that the book is moving as quickly as it should, reading slower might also be important for you to pick out what's actually interesting and what really matters in the book. This does take practice, but it is well worth it to really slow down for those excellent sentences or maybe just excellent metaphors. You might even slow down to the point of stopping your reading, putting the book down and just thinking about it for a minute before you return to continue through the book. Reading for the most part faster and for some of the time slower will help you to read more. The last recommendation here is to sample more genres or sample more subgenres. Even if you're not going to find a new favorite genre, it can be great to just have your preferences confirmed to you so you know more of what you enjoy. It might help you appreciate what is being offered in your genre or by the authors that you enjoy by seeing what you don't enjoy. And in the ideal circumstance of reading more subgenres, you might fall in love with something that you hadn't considered before. It might just be an author, but how great would it be if a whole new genre was opened up to you? you're definitely going to be reading more if you have access to more interesting literature. Okay, that's it for this short video. Thanks. Bye.